Okay, in this next section, what we're going to do is create an environment for the product to sit in, and then we're going to put a label on the actual product itself. So you see here that I'm on the fourth tab, and that will display some images. Now there's some default images that come with Adobe Dimensions. And like I said before, this is a tool that's really for kind of like product advertising. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this image into this area. So I'm going to click on the table image, and you'll see that that's going to add that image to this environment. Now it's not mapped to the 3D plane right now. So you notice that over here on the right under actions I have this option to match image. And what this is going to do is it's going to analyze the image, and see this flat surface right here, this table surface. It's going to it's going to automatically detect that plane somehow, and it's going to map this plane to that plane, and it's going to take the bottle and actually put it onto the table. So let's give this a try. I'm going to click match image, and you can see that it's doing some things here to match. It's creating an environment light, it's matching the sunlight, it's matching the camera perspective, and then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And you can see that it put the bottle onto the table. It matches the plane of the surface on the front, and it gives it some lighting. So that's one thing. I'm going to just, if I zoom in a little bit and I use my middle mouse key, I can kind of position this if I wanted to go over here or if I wanted to go over here. So I'm going to move it over here. That will give us some opportunity for some product text if I wanted to include product text. Now the size of this is pretty small, so I'm going to go over here, and this option allows to scale, and you can see that those red arrows have been replaced with these red blocks. So I'm going to scale. You can scale on the y-axis, you can scale on the z-axis, you can scale on the x-axis, or if you use these options, you can scale on both. So I'm going to make the product a little bit bigger. Notice that the reflections on the bottle are coming from the actual image. So that's pretty neat. It's a pretty awesome tool in terms of what it can do. Now over here on the right, under the scene option, under the bottle, you'll see that I have different parts of the bottle model have been laid out here. So I have the safety ring. If I wanted to change the color of that or change any properties of that ring, I can do that. The bottle itself, and then this is the lid. Okay, so the safety ring is this part under the lid, the bottle, and then the lid. So this is really important. I want to now place some artwork on the bottle to kind of map it, kind of like what we did with Illustrator. So I'm going to select the bottle portion of the model. Then I'm going to go to the File menu, down to Import. Now, Import allows us a bunch of different options. So it can import a 3D model, import an image as a background, image as a light, place material on selection, and place a graphic on a model. So that's what I want to do. I want to place a graphic on a model. So I'm going to choose Place Graphic on Model. And in my exercise files, the exercise files that I've given you, in the Adobe Dimensions 3D folder, there's an Illustrator file, a spring water label. I'm going to click Open on that. And you'll see that the label gets mapped to the bottle. It maps and it wraps it to the surface. Now I can rotate that. You can see that I'm just clicking and dragging to rotate that along the model. This ring that appears, if you click and hold, that will expand on the y-axis. If you click and hold and drag here, it'll expand on the x-axis. And then if you click and hold on this, that'll allow you to rotate that. I don't want to rotate it. I just want it to be a little bit bigger. So if you hold down the Shift key on any of these and click and drag, it will scale both on X and Y. So I'm going to scale this up to make it fit a little bit better. Okay, so that's mapping. I can go back into my scene environment. I can take a look at what the scene looks like. But we haven't rendered yet, so that's the last step. So I'm going to go to the render settings, and you can see that it's going to use a quality of medium. I want to set that to high, and the output is going to be, I want to set that to a PNG file, and I'm going to export this as bottle add And then I'm going to choose where I'm going to render it to. And then click open. And now I'll go ahead and click render. And you'll see that it renders in stages. It'll come in at different stages, and it'll take some time to actually render the entire image. And I chose the highest quality, so it's going to take quite some time for it to render fully. But you'll see that it's smoothing out the edges, and we won't get that vector kind of edge that we saw in Illustrator. It'll smooth everything out. And there we have it. The render is finished. It's saved. See that the nice edges are nice and smooth, and it's really high quality. And it looks like it's actually in the photo with the lighting taking place and all the highlights and all the reflections. So take some time to dig into this program, take a look at all that it has to offer, and try to do the same things. Try to create your own label. Apply it to one of the models that are in here, and take your own photograph or find a photograph of a setting and see if you can put that photograph in, see if you can put that product in the photograph, much like I did here.